So this is Suraj Kumar Jana. Once again, I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel Anjanas Education. We are discussing today the chapter which was left in the previous class, line 24 to line 48. We are going to discuss today. So as I told you, ତୁମମାନଙ୍କୁ କହିଥିଲି that the person Peter Gilligan was worried because he was too much tired. ସେ ବହୁତ କ୍ଳାନ୍ତ ଥିଲେ. ହି ହାଡ୍ ନୋ ରେଷ୍ଟ ନର୍ ଜୟ ନର୍ ପିସ୍. ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଆନନ୍ଦ ନଥିଲା, ଖୁସି ନଥିଲା, ସମୟ ନଥିଲା ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ବିଶ୍ରାମ ନେବା ପାଇଁ. ଆଣ୍ଡ ହି କମିଟେଡ୍ ଅ ହ୍ୟୁଜ୍ ମିଷ୍ଟେକ୍ ଏର୍ଲିୟର୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଅନୋଇଂଲି ହି ଟୋଲ୍ଡ one poor person who had come to his house for the help. ତାକୁ ସେ ମନା କରିଦେଇଥିଲେ because one of his relative was sick, but the person Peter Gilligan denied to go with him and he refused to go. And he also showed his grief. ତାଙ୍କର ଦୁଃଖ ସେ ପ୍ରକାଶ କରିଥିଲେ, ସେ ବିରକ୍ତ ଭାବ ପ୍ରକାଶ କରିଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ. But later on it was the time of evening and then it was going to be night into the earth. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ପୃଥିବୀ ପୃଷ୍ଠରେ ଅନ୍ଧକାର ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲା. The God entered into the world or entered into the earth and he covered earth with shades. ଅନ୍ଧାରମୟ ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲା. And we know the time of night is always been for the God. And what God does at that time, generally he comes and talks to the mankind and he started whispering to mankind. ସେ କଥା ହେବା ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କଲେ ମନୁଷ୍ୟ ସମାଜ ସହିତ. But we are discussing Peter Gilligan's worry, why he was worried. He woke up earlier in the morning after hearing the sound of birds. ପକ୍ଷୀମାନଙ୍କର ଶବ୍ଦ ଶୁଣିକରି ସେ ଉଠି ପଡ଼ିଛନ୍ତି. and he was not able to sleep properly in the morning. ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ଉଠି ପଡ଼ିଛନ୍ତି and stood upright on the floor. ଜୋରରେ ସେ ମୁଭ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଲାଗୁଛନ୍ତି on the floor. କାହିଁକି? it indicates is worried. ତାଙ୍କର worriedକୁ ଏହା ଦର୍ଶାଉଛି. କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ worried ଆମେ ଜାଣିବାକୁ ପାଇଲେ ଯେ the person Peter Gilligan was not able to attend one of the sick men who was suffering from that unknown disease. ସେ ଯେଉଁ ଅଜଣା ରୋଗର ଶିକାର ହେଇଥିଲା ତା ପାଇଁ ସେ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ବନ୍ଦୋବସ୍ତ କରିପାରିନଥିଲେ and he denied to go. That is why he was worried. ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସେ worried ଥିଲେ. Marban the man has died while I slept on the chair. He roused his horse out of its sleep. ତାପରେ ମୁଁ ଯେଉଁ କହିଥିଲି ପୂର୍ବ କ୍ଲାସ୍ରେ that he went to his horse and he roused his horse. ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ଘୋଡ଼ା ପାଖକୁ ଗଲେ ଆଉ ଘୋଡ଼ାକୁ ନିଦରୁ ଉଠେଇଲେ. who was in deep sleep and he started his journey to the sick man's house. sick manର ଘରକୁ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ଜର୍ଣ୍ଣି ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କଲେ with little care and it indicates it was a countryside area ବା ଆମେ କହିପାରିବା ଗୋଟେ ଗାଉଁଲି ଜାଗାରେ. ଆର ସେଟିଂ ହେଉଛି ଏଇ ପୋଏମ୍ର ସେଟିଂ ହେଉଛି ଗୋଟେ ଗାଉଁଲି ଜାଗାରେ ଯେଉଁଠି ଲୋକମାନେ ଅଧିକ ସଂଖ୍ୟାରେ ମରୁଥିଲେ. and Peter Gilligan it was his responsibility to save the life of his people but he was not able to do so. କାହିଁକି? ଲୋକମାନେ ବହୁତ ସଂଖ୍ୟାରେ ମରୁଥିଲେ. and in the night time or during the night a person had come into his house but he denied unfortunately. and he also confesses here or he also confessed here. କ'ଣ କରିଥିଲେ ସେ ଏଠି ତାଙ୍କର ଭାବନା ପରିପ୍ରକାଶ କରିଥିଲେ ଯେ it was not his mistake. his mouth didn't speak. it was spoken by his body. ତାଙ୍କର ବଡି ଦ୍ୱାରା କୁହାଯାଇଥିଲା. ଇଏ କିନ୍ତୁ କହିନଥିଲେ ଯେ ମୁଁ ତାକୁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରିପାରିବି ନାହିଁ. actually in other language we can say it was said by the God. ଭଗବାନ ଏହା କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କର ପାଟିରେ କୁହାଉଛନ୍ତି that it is the time to take rest and you should not go to attend that person. ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ତୁମର ବିଶ୍ରାମ ନେବାର ସମୟ. you cannot attend everyone but unknowingly he committed a mistake. that is what the person Peter Gilligan felt. ସେଟା ସେ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ମୁଁ ବଡ଼ ଭୁଲ କରିଦେଲି. କେତେବେଳେ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି? ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ସକାଳୁ ଉଠିଲେ. he rode now as he never rode. so how he started his journey? with little care. ବହୁତ ଯତ୍ନର ସହିତ ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ଯାତ୍ରା ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଟୁ ଦ ହାଉସ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ସିକ୍ ମ୍ୟାନ୍. ଯେ ପୂର୍ବ ରାତିରେ ତାର ଜଣେ ରିଲେଟିଭ୍ ଆସିଥିଲା ପିଟର ଗିଲିଗାନ୍ ପାଖକୁ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ ପାଇଁ. he rode now as he never rode and he had started journey like he had never journeyed. ଏଭଳିଆ ଯାତ୍ରା ସେ ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲେ କେବେ ବି ସେଭଳିଆ ସେ ଯାଇନଥିଲେ. by rocky lane and fain. ପଥୁରିଆ ରାସ୍ତା ଆଉ ସନ୍ତସନ୍ତିଆ ରାସ୍ତା ଦେଇକରି ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ଯାତ୍ରା ଆରମ୍ଭ କରୁଛନ୍ତି. the sick man's wife opened the door. finally he reached at that place or finally Peter Gilligan reached at sick man's house. but something sad was going to happen. Some story the writer has mentioned here that how Father Gilligan was going to appear a dead man's wife. गोटे मरी जाइथिबा स्त्री को से केमती फेस करछन्ती से विषय को जाइछि. The sick man's wife opened the door. Finally he reached at that place. And who opened the door? The sick man's wife. असुस्थ थिबा लोकर वाइफ खोलिला कोन कबाट. Father, you come again. It was shocked. Peter Gilligan got shocked when he listened some words from the sick man's wife. You come again. तुमे आउथरे आसिलो फादर बोलिकर पचारुछन्ती तुमे कोन आउथरे आसिलो. But the person Father Gilligan had come only once. से थोड़े ही आसीथिले. Before that he had never appeared to the sick man's wife. से केबे भी से sick man रो wife से पाखो से तो देखा ही नांती कथा ही नांती. But the dead man's wife said to the father, "Oh father, you come again. तुमे आउथरे आसिलो की बोलिकर पचारुछन्ती. And is the poor man dead?" He cried. And then the wife of that sick man said to the father that the person is dead. से जानी पारले the her husband already is dead and he was dead. से already मरी जाइतिला. And then he started crying. किए Father Gilligan after listening the bad news from the wife of that sick man he cried. से कांदिवा को लागिले. He died an hour ago. Who said? The sick man's wife said to the father. से फादर को कहूची जे मोर स्वामी गोटे घंटा आगु मरी जाइचंती. One more first thing it shocked to the person Peter Gilligan that, "Oh father, you come once again." आपण आउथरे आसिले कि बोली से वाइफ पचार से शॉक हे गेले, आश्चर्य हे गेले, सरप्राइज हे गेले because he had never come to the house before. से केबे आसिनथिले आगु. And what was the suspense? We will come to know after this. आपर कोन रहिछि कोन पई तार वाइफ एभली कहला सेटा हम जानिबा. And is the poor man dead? He cried. He died an hour ago. गोटे घंटा आगु तांकर मृत्यु घटिछि. The old priest Peter Gilligan came to know from the wife of that sick man. Sick man रो वाइफ थारु जानिबा को पाइले जे सेही असुस्थ थिबा लोकटी मरि जाइछि गोटे घंटा पूर्वरु. The old priest Peter Gilligan in grief swayed to and fro. You can write the meaning of in grief. So the last sentence, the last line, it is said in grief swayed to and fro. The meaning, the father was so distressed. से बहुत distress ही जाइतिले, से बहुत stress रे आसी जाइतिले when he got the news from the dead man's wife. तार wife रो जेतबेले से सुनिले जे लोकटी मरि जाइछि, he got shocked in grief. He was not able to stand properly. The meaning of that is he was not able to move properly, and that much it is mentioned here in grief swayed to and fro. That means he was not in position to stand before the dead man's wife. It was completely his mistake. That is what the person Peter Gilligan felt. से निजे अनुभव करचंती, it is completely my mistake and I didn't appear that person so that he died. सेतिपय से मरि गला. And one more thing, it was discussed in the previous stanza that how he got shocked. He had never come to the house of the dead man's wife. तांग घर को से केबे आसिनांती, किंतु wife said to the father, "Oh father, you come once again." That means the dead man's wife felt that father had come twice. द्वितीय थर पई आछंती बोलिकर से भाबुची. काहे कि प्रथम थर जे आसले से फादर नथिले. Actually one of the angel was sent by the god to the earth. भगवान को द्वारा गोटे पठा जाइथिया गोटे angel आसितिला to save the life of that sick man, but unfortunately that sick man had died. से मरि जाइथिला. And it was not the mistake of the person Peter Gilligan because he didn't know much about it. And God जे भगवान अछंती से फादर को भली आउ गोटे लोक को से पठैथिले पृथ्वी पृष्ठ को to save the life of that person who was suffering from that unknown disease. से जे महामारी रे पड़िथिला, जे रोगर शिकार हेतिला, ताको बंचवा पई फादर को भली आउ जणे एंजल को पठैथिला to save the character of father. फादर को चरित्र को सेव करिया पाई गॉड had sent one of his angel to the earth. से पृथ्वी पृष्ठ को आउ गोटे एंजल को पठैथिले to save the life of that sick man. से लोकर जीवन को बंचाइबा पाई. But unfortunately all the attempts were gone in vain and the sick man was not able to be cured. से आउ बंची पारला नहीं और से मरी जाइतिला. गोटे एंजल को पठा जाइतिला का द्वारा राइटर पीटर गिलिगन राइटर कहते जे पीटर गिलिगन भली दुष्ट आउ गोटे व्यक्ति आसी पहुँचीला पृथ्वी पृष्ठ को. से साहाय्य करने आसते आ भगवान बचाइवाई चाहूले क्या फादर गिलिगां हु वाज टेकिंग रेस्ट एट दैट टाइम जो से विश्राम नौले बदल में आउ गोटे व्यक्ति आसला एंड ही वाज लुकिंग ए लाइक फादर गिलिगां से फादर गिलिगां भाई एक्जाक्ट दिशुला आउ से जो सिक मैन वाइफ भाविले जे फादर यह द्वितीय थर पर आसछन्ती ऑन द अदर हैंड द पर्सन पीटर गिलिगां हैड कम वंस से थोड़े ही आसछन्ती इट वाज फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम ही हैड कम सो हियर इट इज मेंशन्ड वी आर कमिंग द नेक्स्ट स्टांजा आम आसछु व्हेन यू वेर गॉन ही टर्न्ड एंड डाइड सो द डेड मैन्स वाइफ और द सिक मैन्स वाइफ सेड टू द फादर से फादर को कौन कहूँ व्हेन यू वेर गॉन जिते तुम फर्स्ट टाइम आसी प्रथम थर पर आसी तुम्हें गलापर डेथ घटी as merry as a bird the old priest Peter Gilligan he knelt him at that word se kon kole the person so I am explaining the next stanza jota you when you were gone he turned and died tume gola par se tankar death hitla as merry as bird so now the dead man's wife was speaking to the priest or Father Gilligan se kotha hochi kono as merry as bird he died गोटे खुशी रे से मरी जाइचंती and there was no the mind of the dead man's wife was not looking that much sad and she was not looking sad से देखा जाउ नथिले सुरो and her mind was not full of sorrows and she was explaining happily to old priest Peter Gilligan that as merry as bird her husband died गोटे सुंदर पक्षी भली से मरी जाइतिला हु वाज लुकिंग हैप्पी ऑल द टाइम जो समस्त टाइम से खुशी देखा जाउतिला से तार डेथ हो जाइतिला बोलिकर से कहउचंती कि डेड मैन रो वाइफ कहउचंती काको फादर गिलिगां को से एक्सप्लेन करउचंती थ्रू हर लैंग्वेज वी कैन मेंशन as merry as bird the old priest Peter Gilligan he knelt at that word and when he listened those words or when he heard those words from the wife of the dead man he knelt him at that word से अंठी पड़िले he himself knelt से अंठी पड़िले से सेठी अंठी पड़िचंती and he was telling something that to the wife of the dead man and happy death hearing this and it was completely a happy death explained by the wife of the dead man एटा जेतबे डेड मैन रो वाइफ कहउछ जे खुशी से मरी कर जाइचंती एज अ हैप्पी बर्ड मेरी कहले हैप्पी खुशी who was looking happy merry merry so the next stanza we are coming he who hath made the night of stars for souls who tire and bleed we can write two meanings here am duta meaning likhi parwa tire कहले मांस bleed कहले रक्त मु बुझौछि तुमको what is the meaning of this stanza हाथ होछि the past tense of heart it is an old form ए होछि हाथ होछि कोन गोटे old form which is or which was used in the past पोएटिक फॉर्म रे हाथ लेखा जाउथला पूर्व जिनस बा पूर्व पोएट्री मान करे सो इट इज दैट इज व्हाई मेंशन्ड हियर ही हु हाथ मेड द नाइट ऑफ स्टार्स फॉर सोल्स कहले आत्मा बा मनुष्यर देह हु टायर एंड ब्लेड सेंट वन ऑफ हिज ग्रेट एंजल्स डाउन टू हेल्प मी इन माय नीड मु जोटा तुमको पूर्व स्टांजा रे कहली जे वन ऑफ द एंजल सेंट बाय द गॉड ऑन बिहेफ ऑफ फादर गिलिगां को पक्षर गोटे एंजल को पठा जाइतिला किए पठाइतिले भगवान पठाइतिले दैट नोबडी शुड ब्लेम फादर गिलिगां को कहीं ब्लेम न करंतु फॉर द डेथ ऑफ देयर रिलेटिव्स दैट इज व्हाई ही हैड सेंट वन ऑफ हिज एंजल्स डाउन टू द अर्थ बा पृथ्वी पृष्ठ को पठाइतिले टू हेल्प मी द नीड ऑफ फादर गिलिगां बुझियला फादर गिलिगां को साहाय्य पाई गोटे एंजल को से पठाइतिले जे सेव करिया पे आस्ता द लाइफ ऑफ दैट सिक मैन बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली ही डाइड एंड इट वाज नॉट अ कंप्लीट मिस्टेक ऑफ द पर्सन बट पीटर गिलिगां से पीटर गिलिगां को भूल नथिला कहार भी भूल नथिला इट वाज आमे कोई परिबा इट इज रिटन एवरीथिंग एट द टॉप बाय गॉड भगवान को द्वारा लिखा जाइतो होछि सब कहानी इन दिस स्टांजा he says that God had created the starry sky to comfort the souls of sick and dying and the same God must have sent one of his to take Father Gilligan's place at the besides of the dying man गोटे मरी जाउथुवा लोकर जीवन बंचवा फादर गिलिगां पाकु जणे आसीथिला से ताकु सेव करिवा पई किंतु से ताकु सेव करि पार नथिला सो से थिले कि भगवान से लोक को पठाइथिले काकु गोटे एंजल को का तरफरु फादर गिलिगां को तरफरु आई एम टेलिंग यू द स्टोरी ऑफ दिस सांडा ही हु हाथ मेड द नाइट ऑफ स्टार्स जे पृथ्वी रे आकाश देखु आकाश रे आम तारा देखी पार्छु जा जो येस वी नो इट इज हैपेंड ड्यू टू द गॉड भगवान को जो आई थाए एंड ही क्रिएट्स मेन बा ह्यूमन से ही मनुष्य तैयारी करती रक्त आ मांस देकरी सेंट वन ऑफ हिज एंजल्स डाउन एंड टू सेव द लाइफ ऑफ पीपल यही मनुष्य मानकर साहाय्य पई ही हैड सेंट वन ऑफ हिज एंजल्स डाउन जणे एंजल को से पठैतिले to save his life, but unfortunately he died. We are coming the next stanza. He who is wrapped in purple robes, he who is wrapped in purple robes, you can write the meaning of wrap, WRAPP बोले आदृत होइकरथिबा बा आवरण होइकरथिबा पर्पल रोब्स गोटे प्रकार पोशाक. So the writer W.B. Yeats through this discussion, through this poem, has mentioned and said his story and the love, his love for the nature, his love for the God, his love for the Bible, his love for the Christianity. He means it says and indicates about God. It is said about God. Bhagwan kotha koichi who is wrapped in purple robes with planets in his care, and it is his duty and it is his responsibility to save the life of people. Had pity on the list of things, and he knows where he should show his kindness. पिटी बोली कहले दया दया भाव देखाती किसी जिनस एंड देन asleep upon a chair. That means all the animals, all the human civilization, whatever we see in the earth, it is or those are under the care of the God. भगवान को अंडर रे अछि सब जिनस, and if he wants then we can live, and if he doesn't want then we cannot stay alive here, and all it is and all the things and the credit, and we also can say it is his responsibility what he should do for us. से जानिचंती जे हमको कौन करबा उचित कम करबा नाही, and when we will take part it is decided by the God, and when we will go to or when we will come to an end amar parisamaप्ति केतल गोटे, that is also decided by God, and it is not in our hand. Everything it is decided by God. ए कथा कहछि. And after that the person Father Gilligan was asleep upon a chair. He was thinking about such creature of human बाई जो सिविलाइजेशन जो सभ्यता गढ़ी उठी कि केमभଳି गढ़ी उठी से विषय से जानवा को पाइले. In this stanza Father Gilligan continues to speak. He says that God is a kind king. भगवान होचंदी समस्तଙ୍କ राजा. There is no one and there is no alternate of God. भगवानଙ୍କର alternate କିଛି ନାହିଁ. And he is wrapped in purple robes. पर्पल कलर रो पोशाक पिंधि करी से जो अछंती प्लानेट रे, इट इज एंड ऑल द थिंग्स आर इन हिज डोमिनियन. तांकर अधीन रे सब जिंस अछि. हाउएवर ही इज मर्सीफुल दैट ही इवन हैड पिटी. से दयावान आउ से महान आमे कोइ परिबा. ऑन सच मेगर creature as Father Gilligan, while he was asleep upon his chair and he was thinking all those things, he knew about the deed of God. से भगवानकर कर्तृत्व विषय जानिबा को पाइले. and then केतेबेले when he was asleep upon his chair, से जेतेबेले विश्राम नउतले तांकर चेयर रे बसिकरी. so in this way the topic is ended. one thing it has or we have got a concept, गोटे धारणा आम ये पाइले जे एवरीथिंग इट इज डिसाइडेड बाय गॉड. सब जिनस भगवान द्वारा निर्धारित होता है. इट इज फिक्स्ड बाय गॉड एंड ही नोज और वी नो दैट वी ऑल आर क्रिएटेड बाय गॉड. आम समस्त भगवान द्वारा क्रिएट होइचु एंड ही डिसाइड्स व्हेन वी विल कम एंड व्हेन वी विल गो. आम केतेबेले आसीबा केतेबेले जीवा, दैट इज डिसाइडेड बाय गॉड. सो नोबडी कैन डू एनीथिंग. इफ ही इज kind towards us then he can save our life, and if he doesn't kind to us then he cannot save our life. So in this way the topic is ended.